years going to church here. So I think I've been a member of about 2 or 3 years anyway, but I have been. So as we were told earlier, the theme for the month is aligning with divine will. We've heard from Nancy, and she talked about what's the name of the book, Nancy? It's the Surrender Experiment by Singer. He really just did one thing really, really well. He never, ever gave up his prayer meditation practice, which he did twice a day. And the other thing he did was when anything was brought before him, he didn't do like I did. I don't think so. He said, yeah, why not? He was getting a PhD in English of some sort. He started meditating, economics, excuse me, thing. And somebody came by and saw this building he built on his property. I really like that building. Could you build me a house? He says, well, I'm not building. But yeah, that was one of the steps. Another time we went into Radio Shack, he sees this handy computer and says, what's that? The guy shows him it. The next thing we know, he goes, I think I would like to learn how to use that computer program. So he takes it home and he teaches himself how to program a computer. His life went on like that. There was lots and lots of situations. He just joined with that which was given, which is really a joyous thing. And even when one of his business partners decided that he needed more of the money than he was getting paid, he was kind of putting a little bit in his pocket, and he discovered that the FBI was going to catch him. Yeah, he threw his boss under the table, and all of a sudden, all that stuff that he had developed Rome was taken away from him. And as we know from what Nancy told us, he kept praying, kept meditating, never let go back. He never saw this as something bad happening to him. And in time, it was resolved. So that's a really great example of staying in contact with the divine and bringing that out. Now, Linda talked follow last week, and you've got to realize all hear things through our own ears. So what I heard her say was, sometimes we get in our own way. Sometimes we have problems. We create problems. A lot of this comes from our childhood, from the things that we were taught. A lot of it has to do with I am not. We all have these little bits and pieces. Sometimes you're not pretty enough, you're not tall enough, you're not big enough, you're not strong enough. Whatever you want to put in not enough is something that gets and being divine, like Mr. Singer was able to do. I, for many, many years, believed God thought I was a joke. And I refer to it as God and his yo-yo Roger. I love you. Oh, not now, right? Yo, God, look at him struggling now. Pull that up and comes up with a hand. And, oh, there I'm safe again. I was sure God was doing that. That God was just playing with me. I did not trust that. I did not trust God, the divine, whatever name you want to call that. Coming to Unity, I really had first experience was truly the idea that I did not know who Jesus was. And all the Baptist church I went to, the Methodist church I went to, congregational churches I went to as a child, and Lutheran churches I went to as an adult, I never quite got Jesus. Jesus was like, super powerful, whoopy-doopy guy, could change water into wine. Come to Unity and they say, You're just like Jesus. Jesus is the way shower. And I thought, that makes sense. He's showing us the way to be in contact with the divine, with who we truly are. So my take on this is that God's divine will for us is that we know who we are. We know who we are as divine children of God, brothers and sisters in Christ. Charles Fillmore, some people find him hard to read and difficult to understand and think he's not funny, but Joan, I have got a line in here you're going to love. But I would like to read a couple things about what Charles has to say about who we are and how we fit into this divine order thing. So if you would indulge me for a moment here. This is all from one book, one of his books called Keeping a True Lent. But on page 60, this is what Charles says. Man is made in the image and likeness of God. And when he seeks to know himself, he will find the true God and will know that he is one with him. So know that Charles does not see God as a human type being. God is a principle. So if you prefer, you could say, man is made in the image and likeness of the divine. And when he seeks to know himself, he will find the true divinity within him, and he will know that he is one with him. That's really, really important for us to gather and take in. Made in the image and likeness of God, and we can come to know God, the divine, by seeking him. Knock, and the door shall be open. Ask. I really believe, be quiet, hear the knocking, and answer the door. God is always knocking on the door of our lives, trying to reach our divinity. Mind doesn't go. Does not play like you're a yo-yo. God is always present here. The divine is always present with us. In this place is here with each one of you, because each one of you, as we say in the principles of this church, God is all good and present in everything, everywhere. I am naturally good because God's divinity is in me, but that is also true for you and everyone else, no matter the circumstance. That is so powerful. That's something different from here than other churches. The Lutheran Church on page 56 or 58 of the Green Book says, I am not worthy. And it just isn't true. What? So maybe I should read something else from Mr. Fillmore here to give us some more insights to what he thinks. Oh, this is, listen for the joke, Joan. This is, how great is the need for a metaphysical understanding of God, the divine, and his relation to man. Jesus taught plainly that God is spirit, divine is spirit. God is not, here it is, God is not a sleight of hand performer who makes full-grown animals instantly. When I read that, I thought, why would he put that in there unless he had a sense of humor? So we'll go on. God, listen, God gives himself to man, and man has the power to make himself what he will. God gives himself to man. Here, now, all the time, present all the time. God gives himself to each and every one of us in the way we need for God to, that divine to show up in our lives. He goes on, he says, freedom of will is man's inheritance, and he can use that freedom to build or destroy as he determines. Jesus claimed that all authority was given to him in heaven and earth. What Jesus had, I messed up, excuse me. What Jesus had, we all have that same potentiality. He developed his powers and was a great example for us. We all can attain the same unity with the Father mind that he had attained. This is this idea that Christ is the way shower. He's showing us how we might make contact with the divine in our lives. And the whole idea that God is present with us all the time, that we don't have to reach way over there or way up there or look, for something else. It is here within us all the time. And we, because God has the will to do what God will, he gives us that same choice. We have free will. In another section in this book, which I'm not going to read to you, he talks about the idea that if God could interfere directly in our lives as he wanted to, we would be nothing but automatons. God gives us free will. That's really important to know that we, unfortunately, some places might not like this, but it actually means that we are responsible for our relationship with God. Our tenets say, through affirmative prayer and meditation, I make conscious contact with God and bring out the good in my life. We're always present in that thing. We're always present there to have God, have God come into our lives as we choose. Some of us I know sing. Some of us play guitars and sings. Some of us write songs. Some of us play pianos. Some of us build things, put things together around here. We all have different talents. We all have different things to do. And we all have the choice to do that through affirmative. We create our lives by what we choose to think, feel, and believe. I would like to cross out all that other stuff and just say, we create our lives by what we choose. That's really a powerful place to be, because it puts you in charge of your life and puts you in charge of your relationship with whatever the divine is for you. As Maggie Yopes would say, I don't care if you call it peanut butter. You can do whatever makes you feel good. So we'll go on here. The question is frequently asked, why, if God is perfect and man is his likeness and image, should there be imperfection in man? The answer is that there is no imperfection in man. How many of you believe that? Okay, so here I'm gonna qualify it. He qualifies it. He says, Charles says this: he is a perfect potentiality, proving itself. The God in us is there always. We're in the process of proving that. In the course of bringing forth this perfection, there is a process he must go through. That potentiality is there, but we have to bring it out. And that process, that's called life. And if nobody's not noticed, sometimes life changes the game for you. I know that many of us here were not raised in unity, but raised in many other denominations. Like I said, I was baptized in a Baptist church. I went to a Methodist church and got my first Bible. I went to a Congregational church. I went to a Lutheran church. I've been all over the place. When I came here, I came home. I came home. I know for many of us in our searching, we have, this place in us that we can't scratch, that's always there. That place that we're uncomfortable or something we don't know. For me, it's been the longing to go home. And I mean, I was very young when I felt that for the first time. I just want to go home. And I knew it wasn't here. I wanted to go home, to know the truth of who I am and I want to be the fullness of who I am. I want to read this last part again. He is perfect potentiality proving itself. If that's all you're doing, in everything you do, that's what you're doing. As you're becoming who you truly are, who we really truly are. How do we know what that is? I know when I was 18 years old, standing outside of Ventura High School in Ventura, California, and we're sitting there with the demoted student body president because he was caught smoking dope in 1970. Everybody would say, well, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And I said, I'm going to become a teacher. I'm going to come and kick the crap out of this building from the inside out. I never taught in my own high school, but I did teach school for 25 years. And that was something I needed to do. Something that was truly part of what I was supposed to do in my life. Then when I knew I was going to retire, I knew I needed to do something else. And at the time, I had met Victoria Noble, some people know her as Silverleaf, and Mary Marin, and they had started a massage school. And I was drawn to do that. So from the time I was 50 until the time I turned 70, I was a massage therapist. And what a gift that was for me, to be able to put my hands on people and get them out of pain. I've held more than one human being in my arms while they cried on my massage table. I was given that gift that they gave me to trust me enough to let me hold them. The divine is present in our lives all the time. We have things to do, all of us. Sometimes it's really clear. Sometimes it isn't. Sometimes it's very easy. Sometimes it's not. Not at all. So, okay, here we go. We're getting close to the end here. All that any individual has ever expressed or may ever express is open to each one of us, because there is but one fount, and we stand as equals in his presence. So if I can read that and put that in a different language, all that any individual has ever expressed, songs, work, whatever, anything that human beings have expressed or may ever express in the future, is open to each one of us, because there is but one presence and one power, and we stand equal in that presence and power. Equal. Doesn't matter who we are, doesn't know what we do, We are equal in the sight of God, in the sight of the divine. Equal. Not, nobody's less than. Nobody's more than. We are all equal, and it is really hard to see ourselves that way. I know it is particularly for me because I taught school in Montana. I made a living, but I guarantee you my friends in California were paid a whole lot more than I was. I could have been an engineer. I would have been a good engineer. But no, I was a special ed teacher, and I taught little kids how to read. And I taught other teachers how to teach that lowest 20% of first graders how to read. What a gift. Standing out, passing things out at a rally for a guy who was running for office for the first time, and standing on the bridge going to a football game. And this kid comes running up to me and looks at me and said, turns to this young lady, and I can't even remember his name or her name at this point. He turned to her, and this girl said, "This is the man that taught me to read. Mr. Harvey, I'm working on my master's degree, and this is my wife." What a gift. What an affirmation for me to know that I was in the right place at the right time for this one child. You know, there's the old story about the minister who had a big deal about making noise and preaching and telling people to come forward and be baptized. And all the time he did that, he only got one convert. Whether it's true or not, they say the man was Billy Graham. So who knows what it is that we're doing? Who knows when we smile at somebody if we're not changing their lives in that moment, in that time? That's important for us to know and understand that this is truly our place. We are here for a purpose. And I think that purpose is to find out who we are. Our God's divine will for us is to know who we are. And we are divine children of God, of the divine. Blessed with every gift that Christ had. Not that we are at the point of showing that to anybody, but I believe that we're much closer to that than we think we are. I think there are people in the world that can touch you and heal you. I think there are people in the world that can reach out in places that others can't reach. So here's the last thing. Now this is Charles almost talking to us. I realize that spiritual character is the rock foundation. As I build my conscious God mind, I find that I have a life without it. I let go of the little self, take hold. Let go of the little self, take hold of the big self. Sorry, Jeff. What a way to do, you know, you think about it, what all the things that we do to find out who we are, you know. How many of you have ever read a self-help book? Don't show me your hands. How many of us have ever been to a 12-step program? No matter what the addiction or affliction. How many of us have called for prayer? Here's the real beauty of all this. This is the thing that I want you to hear, because it's so, so important. Not only is God's will for us,
that we know ourselves. And not only do we have this potentiality in us, and not only can we choose because God has given us free will, but he's given us something even greater than that. It's called grace. Grace is the thing that keeps us from falling in the hole and never coming out. Grace is that love present in every breath you take. I made a big deal about the idea that we choose. And I know lots of people would say, no, there's some things I've not chosen. They just came to me. Well, I don't know if there is a place where we sign up for this lifetime and then they go, these are the things you need to work on. And you agree to that. No, I don't know if that's true or not. But I do know that we are given things and it is a challenge for us. And we get to make choices about those things. Every day, we get to choose what it is we're going to do, how we're going to be in the world. And then when we make a mistake, because as Charles said, this is a process. Your perfection is there. You're just moving towards it. Be real, be easy, take a breath. You're moving towards it, and you can take your time. Nobody says you have a hurry. There's no syllabus, and you got to finish it by Friday, and the test is on Saturday. I don't think so. It's the idea that when you choose poorly, guess what? You may have to live with the consequences of it, but you get to choose again. You get to choose again. Know who we are. And we can't do that in one fell swoop no more than God made, as Charles said, a whole animal appear instantly. Just doesn't happen. This process called life is intervened here. And each every one of us, you would not be at this church if you were not a secret. Would not be if you weren't seeking to find out who you are. You wouldn't go see a counselor. You wouldn't read those books. You wouldn't go places where you might inspire. You do those things because you are, I don't want to say driven, but sometimes you can't help it, can you? You have to go where you are led. And even if that path is off, you step off the path and you get into the weeds, stop. You can turn around, walk back up on the path and continue on. You can choose again because God doesn't keep score. God doesn't keep score. He's not going to punish anybody for anything. He's just going to say, oh, good, you're back. I like to think of the prodigal son. We are the prodigal sons and daughters of the divine. We are coming home. We are all coming home. And I promise you, if there is one thing I believe it is true, is that when we get there, there is going to be one hell of a party. The divine is so happy to bring us in, to hold us, and bring us to who we truly are. Grace. You are all going home. I am going home. We are going home. We stay aligned the best we can with the divine in our lives. And when we get in the weeds, we stop, we take a breath, we get some help, and we choose again. Namaste. God, I still have one more thing to do. So, yeah, I got one more.
Just fine. Right. So
let's take a moment, get ourselves comfortable in our chairs, and we're just going to spend a few moments. And so just breathe in, get as comfortable as you can, breathe out. Do that a few times. You are, we are divine beings. We live in the presence of divine love. We are whole, complete, and perfect in that presence of God that is within us. Let us surrender to the love that created us. Let us surrender to the love that sustains us. Let us surrender to the love that we are. And know deep, deep, deep within yourselves that there are no mistakes, that love cannot change, that grace is the law of life. Each breath you take is an opportunity to change your mind, to accept the grace that is ever present. For we are all here to know who we truly are, the divine child of the divine. Take a deep breath, come back to the room as you can. Couple things left. They are for protection. And it's on the wall. I'm going to point out once again the affirmation, the affirming part of it as it's the light of God surround us. We are the light. Say that. And
that one of those out. That is for saying the light God surrounds us. We are the light. The love of God enfolds us. We are the love. The power of God protects us. We are the power. The presence of God watches over us. We are present.
wherever we are, God is, and all is well. We are one. So if we could stand and we'll sing our closing song.